What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to talk about how to increase prices for your assisted living facility, how to do it the right way. My name is Chris Chandler, the founder and CEO of Active Age Daytime Senior Care, and this is the #1 channel for senior care entrepreneurs. So glad you're here. This is more of an educational video, so make sure you get out your pen, your paper, and get ready to take some notes, because this is going to be helpful, but there's some math involved. We're gonna go through the background as to why we're doing this. But anyways, that being said, one of the most important things that's so crucial when you think about adding or increasing your price is, have you added value first? You always gotta give it before you can receive it. So I don't know if it says that exactly in the Bible, but it's something like that. But the reality of it is that you should always give, you should always add value before you have any expectations. In fact, you shouldn't have any expectations for anything in return, but you can still make, kind of a mathematical, educated decision around what you're going to give and what the cost of that particular thing is going to be. And then how do I calculate my return on that investment, right? So before I think about adding any price increases, I'm not just doing it because of COVID or because of this, because of that. I'm doing it because I'm adding value. I'm giving that consumer, that customer, that resident, that person, that family, something in return. I'm adding value first. I'm thinking about that first. So what am I going to be giving? What is it going to cost me? Let's figure out how to calculate that first before we think about how can we, what can we increase prices for? So that being said, let's take our smaller residential assisted living facility. I'm kind of just speaking from personal past experiences, so it might be relatable to an assisted living facility that's maybe under 30 beds. But that being said, say I have a facility that has 8 bathrooms and the cost to reconstruct or remodel those bathrooms is $6,500. So for me to remodel all 8 bathrooms, it's gonna cost me a total of $52,000. But one thing that is so important, that when you're making these decisions on what should I be increasing my prices, how much should I increase my prices, is you need to understand, what is my return on investment what does it need to be? So anytime I'm taking into account adding something, whether that's a capital improvement or whether that's a recurring expense, I'm always going to double it in order to calculate my return on investment. So in this case, if the total bathroom renovations or remodel is going to cost me $52,000, I am going to times that by 2, and my goal then is to figure out, how do we increase rents in an amount that's going to return $104,000 on this $52,000 investment, which would be 100% return. Who doesn't want 100% return? Well, say you're in a market and, I think the average across, the entire nation is somewhere around that $3,500 per month range for assisted living. But say you're gonna propose a $400 or $4,000 per month rent, that's gonna be your new rental amount. Is that in alignment with your local area? Make sure that at least you're not so far off. You're not the most expensive one in town, but that you're within the range of other assisted living facilities in that surrounding area. If that is the case, then would a $500 per month price increase make sense? And this would be for new residents, not necessarily existing or current residents, okay? When you're making these types of calculations or these types of investments, to increase the rent, we're not talking about the ones we do annually based on inflation or whatever is stated in the contract. This is, what are we going to increase prices for any new residents? So that being said, in a situation like this, increasing $500 more per month, with a starting base rent of $4,000 per month, is that reasonable for your area? If so, let's take into account, maybe I have 12 residents, at my facility, or I have 12 bedrooms, a $500 per month increase over 12 residents, that would be a total gross, increase in revenue of $6,000 per month. I want to say that's like $72,000 per year, I think, if I did my math right. But now that that's the additional revenue that you're going to be bringing in, one of the important questions to ask is, how long, or what would the length of time be for me to earn a return on that investment? Because when you're thinking about spending $52,000 on bathroom remodels, right, and you want a return of $104,000, you have to think about, okay, I'm putting in this investment up front, right? and it might take a while for me to get paid back. Am I going to be borrowing money from equity in my building? Am I going to be putting it on a credit card? Do I have a business line of credit? How am I, do I have cash lying around, but do I need that cash, for a rainy day? What's the best way for me to finance or fund this new investment, this capital investment, right? And then how long is it going to take for me to return that investment? Because if I'm using a business line of credit, or if I'm using something else, there might be an interest percentage where it's going to cost me a certain amount, per year or per month or whatever, to borrow that money to, create, to have this capital investment. So that being said, one of the things that, like we talked earlier, is that, we're not necessarily increasing our rent on all of our current or existing residents. So it's only gonna be for residents that are new, moving into our facility that are new. So how many residents do you typically move into your facility on an average year? What is your typical turnover? Well, we're giving ourselves, for the sake of just, coming up with an estimated calculation of 12 months. This is the grace period of time after the renovations are completed. Not as part of the grace period, but after you've already made the investment, you've already actually done the bathroom remodels. Now you've given yourself a 12-month grace period, to allow for the amount of time needed for, new residents to move in at that new price point, okay? But you're confident now. You can charge more because you have these beautiful, elegant bathrooms that have, safety and functionality, and they look amazing, and your residents' families are just blown away with how good they look. Now, I can take that 12-month grace period, I take that into the equation, right? Now I'm looking into, okay, now I'm in month 13 and beyond. What does that look like, right? $6,000 total per month. How many months is it gonna take for me to earn $104,000? Because that's my number, that's my target. That's how I based this entire mathematical equation, right? It's gonna take me 18 months. So the reality of it is this is just a rough estimate, but it's gonna take your 12-month grace period plus your 18 months, so a total of about 30 months for you to earn a return of $104,000, which is a 100% return on your original investment that you made. So it's gonna take about 30 months to earn that 100% return on that investment. But the beauty about that is that investment will pay dividends for years to come, and it'll help you get to a price point that'll allow you to have higher margins, that'll allow you to pay your team more, and for you to do more, and for you to have that excess cash reserves for a rainy day or for months when you might not have those new move-ins. But the reality of it is it's gonna help you become a stronger, more profitable, healthier company that's gonna have longevity, and it's gonna last for a very long time. So that being said, remember when you're doing this calculation, is that some important takeaways here is, what's that cost gonna be? Did I times it by 2 when I'm looking for my return? And then how long is it gonna take for me to return, that investment? And do I have a way to fund or finance or whatnot that investment? Have I taken those things into consideration? The cool part about this is, if you do this every time when you're going to add something, like, so if I'm gonna add new landscaping, if I'm gonna add new floors, if I'm gonna add, if I'm gonna increase wages, if I'm gonna add PTO, anything that I'm gonna do to either enhance the building, the environment, the care, or the experience for my customers, my residents and their families, have I taken into account any of those things I'm adding as how I'm gonna earn that money back as a return on investment? And if so, what is the length and the period of time? And sometimes too, you might think about, like, say this was the big project this year, but then say next year you're like, I want to do landscaping, I want to do this flooring, I want to do this. Maybe for $52,000, can you fit multiple projects in that upgrade? So maybe in 2020 it was just bathrooms, but next year it's flooring, it's baseboards, and landscaping, right? So maybe next year it's 3 or 4 different things, and by you doing those 3 or 4 different things, you're only then increasing the price one time for that next year's budget, but you have a reason. There's a definitive reason as to why we're increasing the budget, because we are giving back to our residents and their families even more. So that being said, guys, I hope this was helpful. This is how you should come up with your price increase amounts. Does it make sense? Does it stay within your market cap? Hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or any other ideas or any topics that you would like to cover. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, show some love. Now let's get back to work. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like to learn how to open your own adult daycare center, go to adcpro.com. If you'd like the latest business tips, click here, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. Click here. We'll see you guys next time.